Hello, my friends. Thanks for joining me at Be Here With Me. And I just wanted to say that I finally got all the paperwork together that I needed for getting my passport. And, one would think it's a relatively simple process, but I actually changed my first name legally some years back. And so I needed an official court document that reflected that. Well, I have that court document. However, it's in storage about 220 miles away from me. So my options were drive up there and spend however many hours, going through storage to see if I could find it, or pay the money to send paperwork to the county clerk or district clerk in North Texas, and then have them pull the documentation and blah 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 blah, and then send it back to me. So I opted for that. And I sent it off last Friday, and it came in yesterday, which was Thursday. I went and picked it up and went straight to the passport office, to the district clerk here in Austin, and they had already cut off passports for the day. So apparently they had a long line of people waiting already, and they were not taking any additional people. So I had to go back this morning. Okay, so for whatever reason, my alarm did not go off, even though I pulled it up on my phone as soon as I woke up, and I was like, okay, it should have gone off. I don't know why it didn't. It also didn't give me like a missed alarm notification. So anyway, I just happened to wake up at 8 o'clock. So as soon as I woke up, I was like, wait a minute, it's daylight. Why isn't my alarm going off? Anyway, so get there, spent a good half an hour trying to find a parking place. Parking in Austin. People go on and on about the traffic in Austin, but I don't actually notice it being any worse than Dallas. But I will tell you what is worse is the parking situation. Parking in Austin is terrible. Anyway, so it took me a long time to find a parking place. Of course, it was raining. No big deal. I had my rain jacket and umbrella, blah, blah, blah. So I walk the 2 or 3 blocks from where I parked to the district courthouse, get there, get to the, get upstairs, whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, either check or money order only. They wouldn't even take cash. And I was like, this would have been good to know before this moment. So I had to leave, go find a place that would issue, seriously, check or money order. Who uses those anymore? It's all about the Venmo. Anyway, so so I went to Bank of America, which meant, of course, leaving my parking spot because it was a little too far to walk in the rain. Anyway, went to Bank of America, got a cashier's check, went back to the courthouse, found a parking spot closer this time. Yay. Finally went in and got it all taken care of. So, I should have my passport in 2 weeks, which is good because I leave 3 weeks from today. But all of this kind of stuff, like, it requires a lot of executive functioning, but also, I was just super aggravated. I found myself feeling immediately just angry, like beyond irritated, beyond annoyed. I was angry at the fact that they wouldn't take cash or debit card or whatever for the passport fee. And angry that I had to then deal with that before actually, anyway. What anger, if I anger that quickly and easily, it typically actually indicates anxiety. And I get a lot of anxiety around unexpected hiccups, especially when I'm trying to accomplish things that require a lot of executive function capability. So I'll talk more about what executive functioning is and I have already mentioned, I've already mentioned a couple things having to do more with autism, but quite frankly, ADD or ADHD, um, the labels there are somewhat interchangeable. The DSM removed ADD as a separate descriptor, and now it's just ADHD. But anyway, that's really a whole other discussion. But really, one of the biggest things about ADHD and autism, one of the biggest challenges is reduced or disabled executive functioning capabilities. So things that require a lot of organization to accomplish, and have a lot of steps involved. And anyway, I'll get into this more, but that is usually where my anxiety stems from, is something like that, where especially if there's a hiccup or a wrench thrown into the steps that I've been trying to accomplish. So that definitely happened today. Thankfully, I was able to recognize it as it was happening. I'm like, wow, I'm super angry about this. And then I was like, okay, am I really angry, or is it something else? And then I'm like, okay, yeah, it's anxiety. Okay, yeah, it's because I wasn't anticipating this. Okay, yeah, it's like yet another thing that I have to deal with. So, it resolved just fine. Honestly, it really wasn't that big of a deal. But I just wanted to kind of make a note of that, because I think it's really important to stop. When you have really strong emotions kind of pop up out of nowhere, or so it seems like it's out of nowhere, I think it's really important to just stop what you're doing and say, okay, what's really going on here? And so I was able to do that today, and then I was able to calm myself down and apologize to the person that, and I was like, I'm just mad. I know it's not your fault. I know it's not your rules, but I'm just mad. Anyway, so I was able to control myself around that person and be like, okay, I'm sorry. I know that it really has nothing to do with you, and kind of go on about my day. So, and anyway, the task is done, and so now it's just a waiting game, and I can actually track it, which is pretty cool. So anyway, one step closer. But yeah, so anyway, there should be like if you get caught on fire, like I remember this in elementary school, like if you catch fire, stop, drop, and roll. Like, do you remember that from elementary school? There really, really needs to be a similar adage for really an intense uprising of emotion that happens. Maybe not stop, drop, and roll, but maybe stop and something else. What do you think? All right, so now I'm gonna enjoy a glass of wine, and yeah, that's about it. Just have fun with this Friday afternoon/evening. So, all right, talk to y'all later. Thanks for joining me at Be Here With Me.